First of all, congratulations to Clemson. Told Dabo after the game, and it's true. Heck of a performance by those guys to be able to come into this environment at night and come out with a win. Gutty performance by those guys. Really disappointing performance by us tonight. Knew the turnover battle was going to be critical in this game. Dabo will tell you that's kind of been the story of their season and story of our season in a lot of ways as well. And was it 2 turnovers in the first 3 plays of the game? About the worst possible start you could have. Proud of our guys for the way they responded to the adversity early in the game, coming back and tying it up, and just really disappointing. Offensively, they had 3 field goals. Last year we gave them 7 points and really gave them 9 points with the pick 6 and then the safety that we had last year. This year we give them 7 as well. And defensively we played, well enough to win. Held them to field goals. Weren't able to create as many takeaways as we would like. Give them credit for protecting the football, but just a really, really, really tough night offensively. My biggest concern going into this game was our ability to run the football and protect the passer because they're loaded on the defensive line. And like I told you guys earlier in this week, probably the 2 best linebackers tandem is the best linebacker tandem that we've played all season. And we were nowhere near good enough offensively tonight. Just couldn't make enough plays and didn't win the turnover battle. And when you do that, it's going to be tough to win. It's a hurting locker room in there as well. Feel so crappy for our seniors right now to not be able to give them the finish that they deserve this season. I'm proud of the young men that we have in that locker room, without a doubt. They've shown that time after time throughout the season, and we got it to, we've won 3 straight coming into this game and got it to the final round 12, if you will, and we just couldn't get it done. So apologize to, our fans did their part tonight. Talked about making Gamecock Walk bigger and louder than Gamecock Walk bigger and louder than ever. Feel like it was. Talked about making this stadium louder than it's ever been, and I'm not so sure it wasn't. I mean, it was awesome out there tonight. But in the end, they made enough plays and really played well defensively. Questions?
Raise your hand. We'll get a last one to you, David.
Shane, I know it's just right after the game, but just this season, was there one overarching problem that seemed to be in the way that said that's why we're not getting over the hump and having the success that we thought we could have?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look back, but certainly when you look at statistics nationally, we're one of the worst teams in the country at protecting the quarterback. And that's not all on the offensive line. One of them tonight was a missed blitz pickup at a different position, and so it's not all on the offensive line, but certainly they're really good up front. We weren't good enough tonight. When we've been really good on offense, we've been able to protect the passer and throw the ball downfield, and we knew it was going to be a challenge tonight, David. Tried to do everything, quick game, screens, roll out, max protect, you name it, and had a hard time getting anything going, but certainly we've got to protect the quarterback better. And obviously in the month of October, when we didn't win a football game, we didn't create a turnover in the entire month of October. And when you don't create takeaways defensively, it's going to be hard to win. And when you can't protect the quarterback, it's going to be hard to win. And, we created takeaways the last 3 weeks and just didn't get enough of them tonight. Heck of an interception by Nick, but they had issues protecting the ball early in the season, and they got it fixed, and they did a good job of it tonight too.
The last punt near midfield with about 9 minutes to go. Did you give any thought to going for that one?
Yeah, I thought a lot about going for it. Wanted it to be a little bit less than 7. There were 10 minutes on the clock when we got stopped. We had timeouts left. We had a chance to pin them down there in the end zone by the cockpit with 10 minutes left. If it had been less, if it had been under 9, if you're an analytics person, people say don't punt down 2 scores under 10 minutes. And not that we were basing the decision off analytics. I wasn't. But, I just felt like we could get them backed up in there and have a chance to get the ball back. And we got field position. It had been a field position game all night, and we had crappy field position most of the night. But I thought that was an opportunity to pin them deep, get a stop, and hopefully get the ball back with field position. And, hindsight being 20/20, you go for it. But, Alan, when you're 2 of 13 on third downs, it doesn't give you a ton of confidence going forward on 4th and 7 either. But, at that time, I felt like the best thing was just to put our defense back out there. They were playing their butts off, and see if we could get another stop.
Defensively, just with the turnaround the last few weeks, and what can you say about what you got from those guys tonight and keeping you on the game?
Yeah, they were awesome. We kept putting them out there, and they kept making stops. Obviously, we knew, they were going to come in and try and run the ball. They were down 2 of their top receivers, and we knew that going into the game. So we felt going into the game that they were going to run the ball. The quarterback's a good runner. He showed that tonight. We had a hard time getting him in the game, and I think this is 2 straight weeks. I don't know what they did the week before, but I know last week all 3 of those guys, the quarterback, Shipley, and Mafal, had double-digit carries, and they did again tonight as well. But having said that, never felt like we were making stops, man. They were 7 of 16 on third down, and our defense played well enough for us to win. Like I said, when you hold the other team to 3 field goals, you feel like you have a great opportunity to win a game.
Shane, what would you say? How would you describe the overall state of the program right now? And you're about to go into transfer season. Where are you guys in the SEC pecking order as far as what you can offer transfers and recruits NIL wise?
I'm not going to get into NIL right now, Gene. If you want the state of the program, I'll tell you that it's as strong as it's ever been, in my opinion. We've got a hell of a recruiting class coming in here. We just started 5 true freshmen this year throughout the season. We went through some lumps this year. We lost 12 players to season-ending injuries, 6 of which were offensive linemen. That's not making excuses. It is what it is. I don't know if you saw before the game the committed prospects that were out at midfield with me. It's a pretty freaking big-time group of players that are coming in here next season. All you had to do, Gene, was be in that locker room right now with the young men in our program. That is a hurting bunch of players right now. And the comments that the seniors made to the returning players about the incoming, or about the future and this program and what this program's about, was extremely proud of them. So, we certainly need to be better from an NIL standpoint than where we are. I know the people here people that are involved with that are working their butts off, and we can offer guys a fantastic education, the opportunity to play SEC football, an unbelievable city to go to school in, and a culture and program that's real and not fake. And nobody's patting ourselves on the back for going 5 and 7, but I think there's a lot of teams that wouldn't have been able to respond to the adversity that we faced throughout the season over and over again like we did. And like I said, just wish I had been able to do more as the head coach to get them over the hump tonight and get a win. And that's what I just told them in the locker room. And that's what hurts me, is just guys like to carry on, and those guys that have given so much to this program, not for them to be able to finish on a higher note, just something I'll have a hard time getting over.
You pretty much, your back was against the wall all night with no field position. Did that limit what you could actually call on offense, starting with bad field position every drive?
It didn't help, but not necessarily. To me, if you're backed up on the 1 or 2 yard line, that's one thing. It's not ideal against that defense. I mean, they're really, really good, as you guys know, and it's tough to just drive the ball down the field on them. And the shorter the field, the better the better it is for you. But it didn't really prevent what we were able to call. We tried to, like I said, mix it up and call everything just to try and help get something started, and just couldn't sustain it.
And Spencer obviously had a really rough night tonight. What was what was he seeing out there? Was the game sped up on him, or what were you seeing out of him that just kind of kept him from having his typical performance?
Yeah, I mean, I think you give credit to Clemson and their defense. I mean, 54 is going to play in the NFL for a long time. 0 is going to play in the NFL for a long time. 13 is going to play in the NFL for a long time. Not to name their whole defense, but the 2 true freshmen that just got to town are going to be here for a couple more years, and they're going to play in the NFL for a long time. So it's a really good front. We didn't do a good job of protecting, to say the least. They do it. Give them credit. I mean, they do what they do defensively. They're going to get up in your face. They're going to pressure you. They're going to play man coverage, and that's basically what they did tonight. They're going to mix in a little bit of quarters every once in a while as well. I don't know. He was certainly under duress, and we didn't do a great job of giving him time. And certainly, he'll be the first to tell you that he'd like some throws back. But also, we have been challenging our guys, our receivers and tight ends and running backs all week, that because of the way Clemson plays defense, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for competitive catches where the ball's there and it's a bang, bang play, and we got to make them. And it looked like they made a lot more of the competitive plays at defensive back against our pass catchers tonight than we made the catches. So, we got to help Spencer out, too, when we get opportunities to make plays.
Mario went down pretty early there. I mean, he took kind of a scary stumble and then was back out there pretty quickly. Just what was going on with him on that? Did he get concussion tested or anything like that in between there?
Yeah, I mean, I think he got thrown down. I think it just startled him more than anything. He was fine. He was more mad that he got thrown down, and all he could tell me when I walked out there was, let me stand up so I can get back in there and go back at this guy. Not fight, but get back out there for the next play. Yeah, so we had some tough ones tonight at the wrong times. TJ Sanders, we lost him for a while tonight. That was tough at a critical time. He ended up coming back, but he lost the bulk of time. Jalen Kilgore, we lost him to a hamstring, so that's why Quan Banks was in there at the end as well. So 2 key players on defense that we lost for some considerable amount of time. But Mario was fine. He was cleared to go back in.
Shane, obviously you're thinking about this one, but what's kind of tomorrow and the next week? What's kind of on the off-season checklist of things you're looking at over the next couple weeks and months?
To get better. Players are off tomorrow. Get their any injuries checked out, and we'll come in tomorrow or on. We got a couple recruits in this weekend. One on an official visit, so I'll have recruiting meetings all day tomorrow. Meet with the players on Monday. Kind of recap everything and get a plan going forward. Got exams coming up in a couple weeks, so we got to finish up the academic year strong. We're able to go out on the road recruiting. I think it's Friday. That's when the contact period opens. So I'll be out recruiting on Friday and around our players as much as possible this month as well. So we've got a. If you look at who's coming back, and we had some guys that walked tonight in senior night that can come back, and optimistic that some of those guys will. And if you look at who is returning, we got a hurt for these seniors right now. So I'm not trying to look ahead to 2024 right now, but we got a hell of a team coming back next year, and strong group of people, unbelievable freshman class coming in. We've got to get a lot better. We got to be better as coaches because we weren't good enough tonight. But we also, did some really good things this year. We just couldn't quite get over the hump enough times.
Coach, the last couple of games, I guess 24 points in the last 2 games, with an offense that's been as explosive as you guys have been for large chunks of the season. Kind of how frustrating has it been to go into these last 2 games and really have to rely on your defense to pull these out?
Yeah, it's been frustrating. You look at you go back to played really well offensively against Florida, but if you look at Missouri and you look at Texas A&M and then you look at Kentucky last week, we just weren't explosive, efficient, productive enough. And it's hard in the SEC to score points, but we did not play great offensively down the stretch, and that's disappointing. Defense started playing better at the end of the year, and offensively we didn't do enough. We did enough to win last week, but it wasn't pretty. And then tonight we we didn't do nearly enough, which is tough, especially with a quarterback like Spencer as well. So we certainly got to be better, coaches and players, in all three phases, and to answer Jordan's question, that's what we're getting back to work on is recruiting and how to get better, because we gotta be better.
You've mentioned this senior group a few times here. Just looking back to so many of these guys were young when you came in and stayed here and bought into what you're doing. Just how much has this senior group meant to you over these last 3 years?
Yeah, a lot. We talked. Sorry. We talked about it in our team meeting yesterday. Some of those guys were here when I got here to carry on, and Tyreek and Tonka and Leggett, and they stayed, which the easy thing to do is to leave. And didn't just stay for 1 year, but they stayed 2 years, and then a third year as well. And then guys that came in that didn't know anything about me but trusted me to come in. Amarian Brown, Jordan Strawn. I mean, I can remember sitting in my bedroom in Norman, Oklahoma, doing a Zoom with Amarian and his dad, trying to convince them, not quite sure what our offense is going to look like, but we want you to come play football at South Carolina. And he trusted us and came in. So they're awesome.
Shane, kind of going off of that, just what are you going to remember most about this team and the guys in that locker room?
Just their fight. Sorry, I'm so emotional. They're a great group of guys. And went through a lot this year, the injuries, throughout the year, and they just kept hanging in there. And if any team had a reason to just throw in the towel and say, it just ain't our year, another offensive lineman got hurt, or we're starting another freshman on defense, heartbreaking loss to Florida, whatever it might be, this team easily could have, and they never did. And I know I told you guys how much I enjoyed coming in the building each and every week or each and every Sunday, regardless of what had happened the day before. It's the truth, and it's because of these guys. They're just a lot of fun to be around, and that's the hardest thing about being 5-7 and not getting that 6th win is not being able to spend the next month with them and all that. That's tough. You wrote that article on the Carry On, didn't you? That was awesome. Awesome. He actually, at the hotel we stay at before home games, they put a newspaper in my room on Fridays. So I always read it on the way to the movie, and the players are like, wow, haven't seen anybody actually read a newspaper in a long time. And I'm like, well, I do. But I was reading it last night. My dad still gets a newspaper every day at his house, so we're newspaper people. But I gave that to the Carry On the bus last night on the way to the movie, and it was pretty cool, his reaction and all that as well. So it's a heck of a story. Thank you, guys.